The music from Perplexity is insane, chat. Oh my god, what amazing music. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that music as much as I am, but let me bring that music down because it's time to party with your boy TraderPrad. I just got out of the shower, so my hair is a little messy, still a little wet. But your boy cleaned up his beard a little bit, you know, no more neck beard, just nice little trim up job, and need to now go get a haircut because my hair is getting absolutely out of control. So need to go get a haircut, maybe after stream today or maybe on the weekend I'll go get a haircut. But enough about me, let's talk about the market. What a crazy day. I don't know if I got lucky. I don't know if I'm a genius, if my stock picking was great. Maybe I just plagiarized because I just took stocks from the internet. You know, I don't know what to accredit the day to, but today was just an awesome day for the swing account. Tesla rocked up to the north side. RR, which is a robotics company, also ripped up. Tempus AI had a pre-market catalyst that ripped up to the north side. Baba went insane. So you know, the 4 or 5 stocks that I was heavily invested in for the swing account, they all ran up. So I don't know, maybe sometimes, you know, it's It's good to be lucky. Maybe, you know, I just positioned myself in the right name, so it feels good. Watching all these names go up. Excited to see how they set up for tomorrow and going into the weekend. Lots of names on the watch list for tonight because of how the market's moving. You know, QQQ is right back into the all-time highs, or maybe even making a new all-time high. S&P 500 running up. You know, market's looking great. No other way to put it. Even though CPI did come in a little bit hotter, market just didn't care and shrug it off and just kept running up to the north side, which was amazing. Something to check will be the probability scales. How did the probability scales tip for the interest rate decisions on the CME website? So stay tuned for that. We will for sure be checking out that website later on today. And tomorrow we have another IPO. So far, 2 IPOs, both of them opened higher than where they were supposed to, but then sold off going into the rest of the day. Tomorrow we have another IPO. It's supposed to be oversubscribed about 20 times, so that'll be interesting. And then I think all of next week also we have more IPOs. So just an insane month overall. Next week also it's triple witching. That's going to be another event to keep an eye out for. So just market has been amazing September. You know, September 1st started off actually so scary. Markets going down, bringing all the stock to the downside. The spooky September season, which is historically markets have sold off in September. It looked like we were going to have a spooky September with the way September started, but here we are. First weekend or 2 weeks into September, things are looking great already, right? Things are looking better, and wow, I'm just very happy with how tech stocks are playing out. If you see me constantly staring over to the right side over here, it's because I have, I'm not sure if Benzinga Squawk is still playing, but I'll turn that off. But yes, on my other screen over here, which we're gonna go to, let's go to the full screen. I have Benzinga locked and loaded for us. So if any new alerts or new stocks news comes in, I'll be able to quickly scan it and see if there is a trade over there to talk to you guys about, you know, maybe even outline a live trade. I was going through some YouTube comments. I saw that Damien, who's in the chat right now, wanted me to talk about MNMD. If I remember correctly, that's MindMed. So I have it on the watch list, and I do see that you're in the chat right now, Damien. Welcome. Good to see you. Barket's in the chat too. T8's in the house. How's everyone doing? Good to see the boys in the house. Yeah, so I have MNMD on the watch list for you. But as we usually start, our stream off with is talking about earnings names. So let's actually quickly dive into the earnings name. But there's only one, so not much to talk about over there tonight. So one good earnings name, reported earnings, actually went up to the north side. So let's bring in the Benzinga screen if you guys are interested in using Benzinga, this awesome new software that I absolutely cannot trade without. You know, because of the Benzinga software, or the Squawk, I want to say, I was able to call out the WBD trade for my Discord server. People were able to actually capitalize on this trade. At the moment that I called it out, it was around $15, and if you took the long around $15, you would have been able to capture a move all the way up to 17. But you know, when the news came out, it actually broke around 1350, so even bigger move if you were able to capture it much earlier on that news catalyst. We'll talk about this news catalyst a little bit further down the stream, but the point is, Benzinga Squawk, which I listen to throughout the day when I'm trading, I simply cannot trade without it. Awesome tool, and I urge you guys to go check it out. Check out the link in the description. Earnings from Adobe, where are we? Let's click on the link that gives me the most information, and it looks like this is the one. Released its third quarter results. 5.31 versus 5.18, almost $6 billion, beating the estimates of 5.91 billion, and up from the same period last year of 5.41. Adobe reporting Q3 segment highlights. What is the highlights over here? Digital media segment revenue 4.46 billion, representing 12% growth year over year. Digital experience segment revenue 1.48 billion, representing 9% growth year over year. Subscription 1.37, representing 11% growth. There's more numbers over here that I skipped past. Digital media analyzed recurring revenue. That's a mouthful. Is showing 11.7% growth. So I'm not really seeing diminishing growth at all. So on the battle, you know, if you're watching the stream on YouTube or on Twitter, there's a thumbnail that I created for the stream today. Maybe I quickly show off my little thumbnail creating skills. Realistically, it's not my thumbnail creating skills. It's Perplexity helping me out. But it's my thumbnail creating prompt skills. Where is it? Oh, god damn it. Since the stream is already live, the thumbnail is no longer available. Anyways, the thumbnail is Figma and Adobe battling it out against each other. Looks like you know, Adobe is actually not losing that battle just yet. They're doing just fine. Adobe is the leader in AI creative. I don't know about that. In AI creative applications category with AI influence, occurring revenue coming in. Okay. What is the outlook? Outlook raised. That's pretty good. Outlook raised EPS between $20.80 to $20.85 versus previously 20. Oh no, that's estimate. Versus estimates of 2065. So not sure what the previous range was, but the new range is well above the estimate, so that's a positive thing. Raise the 2025 revenue. Ooh, where's my phone? Raise the 2025 revenue outlook between 23.65 versus 23.75 versus estimates of 23.57. That's also above estimates, so it looks like market absolutely ate up that earnings report from Adobe. So far, look, that's a good report. I'm not gonna be a hater and talk smack about Adobe after reporting like that, but from what I remember seeing after hours, they pretty much gave back a big pop, and looks like, yeah, look at that, they had a 8% move, and now they're only up 4, 5, 3%, 2%. So that's not what you want to see if you're an Adobe buyer. If you want to see Adobe really thrive and succeed, let me just quickly remove some of my drawings over here so we can start fresh. I want to mark that high. I want the 200 moving average already kind of marked by itself, but you know, keep an eye out for that area. I'm not sure we popped up to here. Probably not popping up all the way up to 420. I think we popped up to 380 something around this area. But I don't really want to put a line in that area. I'm going to put a line here instead. Okay. So these are the lines that I have. At the end of the day, guys, lines are very subjective, right? If you're putting a line at a support level like that, that's not really subjective. But these lines in the middle of the ranges are pretty goddamn subjective, okay? So your lines versus my lines, at the end of the day, that's what market comes down to. Does this mean that I'm going to trade off of this middle line? No, but I just like to see, you know, on the last two earnings report when we originally dropped down, are we able to at least reclaim that area on today's earnings report? If we're not able to trade above or around this area and build support around this area, then that shows to me that today's earnings report was irrelevant. Like, it does not matter if the stock is not able to find buying on a good report like that. They're saying they're going to report $20 per year. But they're not able to reclaim the last two earnings reports low. That's, you know, voodoo science, but it's showing you that buyers are not stepping in. In fact, there's still sellers in this area from previous. So anything getting or pushing back here and reclaiming in this area would give me confidence that there might be an opportunity to look long on Adobe. And obviously you have the 200-day moving average at the $400 area. It's actually a 406 if you want to be technical, but I'm just gonna round it down to 400, so a range of 400 to 405, 406. You're keeping an eye out to see if the stock can you know, push up there and hang around in that area. If not, most likely another beat down sell-off opportunity on Adobe. So that is sadly the only one and only earnings names today that we have on our watch list. I mean, there's more earnings names on the watch list, but the one that reported today after hours. None of the other ones in the after hours really excited me. The other one that actually stands out is when I was getting ready to go live, I noticed Restoration Hardware reported something about Q2 earnings disappointment. So I think an early preliminary earnings report came out, or they just dropped the earnings report out of nowhere after the closing bell. So they were not expected to report, but they looked like they reported, dropped after hour, released second quarter. That looks like a full report then. So RH did report earnings. I thought it was like a preliminary report, and hence they dropped to the downside. But looks like they lowered guidance. They reported to the downside also, and hence the stock is plummeting. So let's just quickly read about this one also while we're here on the earnings basket. RH reported 2.93 versus 3.20, revenue 899.15 versus estimates of 904.64. RH continued to generate industry leader, blah 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 blah. Revenue increased by 8.4%, demand increased by 13.7%. Doesn't look like it, but I guess revenue year over year is still increasing, even though they didn't match estimates. Keep in mind, RH is Restoration Hardware. They are very much tied with inflation rates and with interest rates, sorry, and you know, tariffs and so on. So all of that caused a lot of trouble for Restoration Hardware. A little bit of a recovery recently, but looks like this earnings report might cause them more trouble. Outlook, they lowered their outlook, coming in at 3.49 to 3.59 to a new range of 3.46 to 3.53 versus estimate of 3.52. I guess the top side of the estimate still within in line, but they are lowering. The lowering is not that big of a lower, but you know, market probably sometimes algo just look at these headline titles lowered and the keywords that stocks report and use that to automatically sell a stock, and you can see how now they're actually reversing back up, because that lowering is actually not that bad. And for a stock that's dealing with you know, tariff issues, inflation rate issues, growing is actually not bad either. So yes, they missed on estimates, but guess what? Another company missed on estimates recently, and they popped up by 40%. So I don't think Restoration Hardware here is going to look too weak. For it to be weak, I think we're gonna have to see it below the 50-day moving average. Right now it's holding very well around the 50-day moving average, and Restoration Hardware, I think, is basically bouncing off of the 50-day. Let's go back to the daily chart. 50-day around the 217. It's bouncing at 190, so it actually did drop a lot lower. Found a bottom around 190 and bounced off of that. If we can quickly go over to Perplexity, go to earnings, see if they have RH over here. They do, and looks like RH's earnings call will start at 5 o'clock. We're getting this bounce before the earnings call even started, so that will be very interesting to see what happens when the earnings call actually starts to kick off. Kroger apparently hasn't had its earnings call. Maybe it did, who knows. No, it doesn't look like it had its earnings call. It was supposed to have it at 10 a.m. today, and Adobe also having its conference call at 5 p.m. So will be very interesting. We'll keep switching back and forth between our watch list and between these two stocks to see how they're setting up in the after hours. Already Adobe you know, running up and then pulling back, sadly, at least holding above today's pre-market area, I guess, but not holding above where I wanted to. I'm just gonna quickly put those areas in my watch list. 365 is the minimum inflection support I want to see the stock above. Oh, that's not Adobe. 365 is the minimum support area I want to see the stock get above. The next inflection level above that is the 374.50 to 375 area, and then above that, obviously, is the after hour high that the stock created at 382. If we ever do manage to get back up there, I think that'll be something to keep an eye on. Pretty high priority, you know, good earnings report, guided higher, but the move is not really the best of the best moves out there that I've seen for a report like that. Restoration Hardware, bouncing for now. I think we're gonna revisit this stock when the earnings call starts for this one. Same with Adobe. So let's come back to the top of the watch list now, which is a stock for Damien. Damien wanted us to talk about MNMD. If I remember correctly, the stock was MindMed. I've traded this one before a long time ago, and whoa, it's climbing back here. Okay, I did not expect this from MindMed. You know, I gotta respect this game now. Not a bad move at all. Reclaimed the 200-day moving average sometime in May. Creating a little bit of a box, some nice sideways base action sideways coming into play. I guess one news catalyst and you know, just some sort of a positive report. Earnings report already came out actually, but I guess you just need a positive news catalyst, you know, a good news catalyst, and the stock possibly blasting off to the north side. Maybe a buyout, maybe some sort of FDA catalyst. Quickly go check what MindMed's float and other information such as the short float is. MNMD short float 14%, that's not bad, and overall float 72 million shares, which is not like a small cap, but still you know, we're seeing Open Door, which is almost a billion float, getting squozed to the north side. So 70 million float is for sure worth keeping an eye on. But I think you need volume, you need news. This is a $10 name trading less than 1 million shares on the average side, so it's not ready yet. If you want to buy some shares around here and then risk below the 50-day moving average, I think that's not a bad idea. But you know, the stock is not really in play right now. You want to see something that has a catalyst, some sort of reason to get into. I could say the same thing about RGTI, but I got into RGTI today. I bought some shares of RGTI at 16.51. Where did it close after hours? Looks like it actually closed at 16.69. So I'm up basically, you know, 10-15 cents. I can't do math. I'm up already on that position. The main idea is, you know, it's holding 50-day moving average. The other what are these names again? Quantum names. The other quantum names are all looking good. I actually got this idea from a tweet from People Wish, an awesome dude on Twitter. He runs a really good Discord server too, an awesome Discord server where you have to give $50 to charity, and you get allowed into the server. He called out this trade, and I really like the thesis and the idea. The thesis being, you know, quantum names, regardless of how much they've been hated on, they've actually held up very well. So here's IonQ holding up fairly well. The reason why I didn't pick IonQ, even though it actually broke out, is because IonQ has less average daily range. So if I want to be greedy, you know, I want to be involved in a name that moves more. So RGTI, just before it breaks out, I want to position myself to a point where when it does break out, I am adding to a position, not starting a new position. So that's the reason why I'm starting a trade here. And you can use the same idea for MNMD. You know, you can start a trade around here, but then if it starts to get back below 850, you're potentially, you know, you have to get stopped out. And then you can always get back in to the lower side if you really want to. That's how I would trade it, at least. You know, non-financial advice. End of the day, don't listen to me. Do what you want to do. I'm just trying to protect myself by giving up that disclaimer. Here's a name that's very interesting. Completely went under the radar. Let's talk about SanDisk. We've been talking about Western Digital, Seagate Technologies. All of these hard drive memory space names have been absolutely blasting off. ripping to the north side. Something about the AI effect, I guess. I mean, this is crazy. So looking for a first red day short setup on all of these. I'm not sure when it's gonna set up. I don't think Seagate Technologies has had a red day in how many days now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 days in a row, STX has not had a red day, and it is trading 4.5 ATR. How much is it trading? It's trading 5.7 ATR. Is that what it's trading? 5 points. I think it's straight. No, the normal ATR for the stock is 5.7. Is that what it's saying? It's above the threshold that I need it to be. Okay, as simple as that. Let's just leave it at that. It's above the threshold that I need it to be to look for the first red day short. Western Digital already looking like it's getting tired of going up. Some slower moves. The candles are getting smaller and smaller. So first red day setup on Western Digital would be great. But out of all of these, SNDK SanDisk stands out the best because look at that. It's much more extended. It gapped up today, and it's just going parabolic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The stock was at $38 at the start of this month, and now it's at $85. What are we talking about here? What's going on with SanDisk, right? People are buying memory cards at an insane rate. Is that what's going on? I don't really think so. So these are just maybe people getting greedy and punching as many prices as they can to the upside. Eventually, the people chasing will learn a very, very humiliating lesson, and this stock will start crumbling to the downside. So watching SNDK possibly tomorrow or even in the next few coming weeks, because tomorrow being Friday, last day of the week over here, possibly actually tomorrow will be a very good day for this. Let's go check out what SNDK bar chart looks like. There it is. SNDK, give me the symbol. So we're already above that price, if I remember correctly. We're trading at 84. The stock is at 75. Yeah, so we're trading at 84.30. The call wall's at 75. This is basically showing you that more gamma squeeze is taking place. This website updates at 8:30 p.m. at night, so make sure you are revisiting this website at 8:30 p.m. or at least tomorrow morning to see the new option walls, and that will be very interesting to see what the gamma flip will be. I don't think the gamma flip should be that far out, but the overall idea is if the stock gets back below the call wall tomorrow, you might see some delta unwinding, or is that the right word? Gamma unwinding, whatever. You'll just see delta unhedging coming into play, and people will whoever were hedging on their option calls, they'll now start dumping their shares back into the market, and you'll see the unwinding coming into play in the stock overall. So ideally, first red day setup, a pop into today's high, or a reject around today's VWAP, or a breakdown below today's low. That is the setup game plan, and I think honestly you don't need any other game plan tomorrow besides this if you're a day trader. Like, this is a high priority name. If this stock goes above today's high, there are chances that this stock is going, even more parabolic crazy. But I don't think that's happening. I think you might see an exhaustion around today's high, a pullback into today's VWAP, and then a break below today's low for that easy gap fill action coming into play over the next few weeks. Tomorrow might even be the Kickstarter of the trade, where you hold it over the weekend for that nice gap fill over the weekend. I don't know. I'm just seeing something over here. that I might be interested to play with some options. I'm gonna go check out what SanDisk's put options are. Even try to look for open for the short. If open gaps up tomorrow, I might look to buy some put options on open for the 0 DTE expiry and see if I can ride the stock to the downside, or even just a quick little scalp to the downside. Because I can't short stocks on my swing account. It's a cash account, so I'm just going to do it with options if I have to, on open and on what was it, SNDK. So this is a very high priority name tomorrow. SNDK today's high basically $86, 85, 89. So yeah, $86. Today's low was 81.38, so basically 81, or we can say 81.38 to 81.50. And then the gap closes much lower. Before that, we have the upper Bollinger Band high, which is at $83. Sorry, $78. Possibly some support coming in over there. Yesterday's VWAP was at 73 bucks. Maybe a pullback to 73 would be awesome. I'm not sure if we do get that. The stock did manage to pull back going into the close. That's crazy. There was a short setting up over here that I was like, oh, that's a good short setting up. Maybe that's the Kickstarter for the first red day, and then tomorrow we continue gapping lower. But yeah, that's a pretty good surprise that we pulled back. So maybe we actually get what I'm looking for. We got a pullback into today's high, a failed breakout at today's high, and then an absolute destruction. Goes back below today's VWAP, goes back below today's low, and then that would be an awesome first red day setup, because then you are looking for the stock to go back into this day's high, which is yesterday's high or yesterday's low. So lots of opportunities over here setting up on SNDK if it does exactly over here. A failed break a high a day, a pullback into today's VWAP, a failed hold of today's VWAP, or maybe holding today's VWAP, popping back up, creating a higher low, and then getting back below today's VWAP and then crumbling. What you don't want to see is today's VWAP so tomorrow's VWAP ending up being today's VWAP. What that means is there is just more sideways coming into play. You don't want to see that. You know, if today's VWAP, tomorrow's VWAP starts like this and then ends up like this, that means the stock is most likely doing this. Okay, that means the stock is most likely doing this. That's not really what you want to see it do for the first red day yet, but at least you will be able to short the pops, take advantage on the drops, and then when the drop breakdown, you get to really turn it into a real trade. A good example for this, not really a one-to-one example. By that I mean they're not in the same sector, but is SOGP. When SOGP had its first red day setup, if you studied that, or the second red day setup, that's a little idea of how it plays out. Go out there, study first red day setups. In fact, go follow me on Twitter. Let me refresh this page to see if their watch list got updated. In fact, oh, they did not. Lazy motherfuckers. If you go check out my Twitter page right here, if you click on that first link on my Twitter, it's my pinned tweet. Click on that. You'll be able to go through all of my notes from stocks that I write up, and here you can see I actually wrote up the second day, not the first red day, because I was lazy. But you can see how I wrote up the second day, you know, annotating exactly how I would have wanted to trade it, looking for the signs that I want to see. Lower day breakdown over here, beautiful lower day breakdown that I for sure would have wanted to be a part of, but obviously you got to remember that the stock is on SSR at this point, so the chances that you get a fill are hard. You actually have a backside scalp long here and some sort of a second chance scalp long also setting up back to VWAP. So one long back into moving averages, that gets pushed back down, and the second long right back into VWAP. So analyzing the chart candle by candle, bar by bar, and looking for reasons to get into a trade. How would I trade it? Where would my stop be? Can I flip long? Can I stay short? And maybe you want to even go one step further than that and put in your notes how you're taking profits. Are you trailing to the moving averages? Are you using previous bar high, previous bar lows? What is the volume of the stock when it's working for you? Is it small? Is it elevated? Is it ramping up? Is the stock moving drastically in your favor very quickly? Is it capitulating, or is the price being accepted? So all of these things you might want to consider putting in your notes too. But I kind of have that, you know, drilled into my mind a little bit already, so I don't really put that into my notes. I want to perfect my entries always. And obviously my exits suck, but I think like my exits will naturally manage themselves, so I don't really work on exits as much. Give me a second, chat. Just gotta reply to my father. Let's go on the weekend. All right. Oh, what a day! What a day! What a day! SOGP was a great example for SNDK if you want to do that research. Now that it's 5:04, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to our good tools over here. Looks like Restoration Hardware earnings call has not started yet. Event is live, awaiting. They're waiting for the transcript. I guess once the call actually starts, they'll start transcribing that. But here's Adobe. Just started, so maybe give it some time and then we'll revisit it. But let's see if the market is moving based, or at least the stock is moving based off of that earnings call at the moment at all. Looks like not much movement over here yet off of the earnings call for Adobe and obviously Restoration Hardware. What is my dad asking? You asked? No, I did not. RH is actually holding fairly well now, so looking better, looking a lot better. Man, I really want SNDK to work tomorrow. I don't want to move away from that stock. I just want to stock it, hunt it down, and look for that first red day. But again, you have two more stocks in that same basket, STX and WDC, and honestly they all three might play out on the same day, just one after the other, so keep an eye out for that. Many names in that MNMD space have been strong. ATAI, haha, I actually own ATAI in my account. I think, pretty sure I own ATAI in my account. Somewhere here. I don't remember what price, but somewhere here. I'm not a lot in the money on it, you know, maybe even here. I'm long, I think 430, 420. So yeah, I'm long ATAI. CMPS, I guess, like, you know, the small caps in general. If you look at where IWM is, right? If you look at where IWM is, it's basically pushing into all-time highs. So possibly a sign that the market is about to top out because you're seeing a lot of garbage names start moving back higher. You're seeing stocks move 4,000% up in one day, and then the next day they change their symbol completely and then do an offering. So it's hilarious, but it's just the nature that the market is having its euphoric state at the moment. I don't think MindMed is as important unless it brings in a catalyst for me, so I'm just gonna leave it blank for tomorrow. Fig was actually on the watch list for a comparison move compared to Adobe. Also for another opportunity to see if it's gonna break down below 50-50, but it never got there today. It actually bounced fairly well, and maybe with the Adobe's report you'll see some sympathy move up higher on Figma, so worth watching for a sympathy move. Also for a little bit of a bottoming out action maybe, and if I remember correctly, around this area, $40 to $50, maybe $30 was actually what the stock was supposed to open at. So it would make sense that there's buyers in this area. You could possibly even call this some sort of a backside scalp, you know, consolidation of this range. You take the breakout of this consolidation and you risk the range low, but I don't really want to be doing that. I want to see if there's confirmation by the stock gets above, pulls back, and actually starts showing me support above here. So something to watch. You know, keep an eye out for it for the sympathy trade. But I'm just gonna give it a less priority tomorrow than Adobe. So it's gonna go in the orange color. Adobe stays in the purple. Here are some other stocks to possibly keep an eye on. Circle making a nice pop today. CoreWeave recently ran up, but then, oh yeah, gapped up yesterday. Nice little inside day on CoreWeave at the moment. Not really doing a whole lot. Looks like possibly going to continue trading sideways for a little bit longer, given how Oracle played out. If I remember correctly, CoreWeave is an AI related name, and look how Oracle is playing out, right? Oracle is showing you that yeah, we're not supposed to be moving like this. This is ridiculous. We just missed double on estimates and on revenue. So some kind of a reality check over there. Even Nvidia, if I remember correctly, had a red day today. Maybe I shouldn't say red day, but basically gave back all of its gains. What else? Palantir also. So you kind of get the idea that maybe this is an example being put in for other AI names. You know, yesterday everyone was, maybe, you know, I'm guilty of that too. Everyone was oh my god, Oracle, yay, Oracle saved the AI market. We're gonna go to insane new highs now. Everybody get along everything. But then Oracle's showing you, hey, maybe that's not the reality. Everybody calm down a little bit. But then you also have Tesla today actually breaking out and then pushing back into May highs. So I love seeing that on Tesla. Hopefully some action in the overnight market. I didn't mean to move that. Hopefully some action in the overnight market and more upside. I love seeing that it actually closed at a higher price because I added over here on my Tesla position. So let's go Tesla. And I just want to keep, you know, adding to my exposure on this name because I really do believe, you know, Tesla didn't partake in the whole bull run. The first time and the second time. I guess you could say it partook on the first time from 200 to 400 or 350, but then the second time it just wedged and went sideways, mainly because Elon and Trump were having some sort of a breakup. You know, and now that Elon's back into business and actually working on his companies. He was also on an All-In podcast recently, which was awesome. They asked him, you know, you're back to work. What did you learn from your time in Washington? And he said, what I learned was the government is not fixable, which is hilarious, which I guess we all knew for a very long time. But yeah, government not fixable. Let me just go back and work on fixing my companies that are doing great jobs. So Tesla. He also talked a lot about the Optimus robot, about AI, about full self-driving, about XAI, which is Twitter AI. So if you guys are interested about technology, about AI, humanoid robotics, and so on, go check out the new All-In podcast with Elon Musk. It was not a bad episode at all. I'm actually going through the Tucker Carlson and Sam Altman podcast, which I'm 3 minutes into. I'll be finishing that after stream while I do my homework and my notes. Where is this guy? Okay. So Tesla looking great. Love watching Tesla break out. Give me another big day tomorrow. Just a couple days ago or even yesterday, I was telling my father there might be an opportunity here setting up on Tesla. Try to snag some shares up and get ready, because all it takes is one good news. We don't really have a good news today. We're just moving without any big news catalyst, in my opinion. So you know, looking good. Let's start making this wedge breakout to the north side. Another name that's in my swing account that I'm watching, RR. Robotics name. Again, told my dad to buy this name recently. Good to see it bounced from the 21-day moving average, reclaim the earnings VWAP, hold above the most recent high, turn that into some sort of a support. So trading in this range and then starting to push higher, RR will be very interesting for you know, the upside. Robotics sector is the new AI, right? I think Elon was saying for $20,000 by the next 10 years, you'll be able to buy a robot that does things for you at home, like dishes, mopping, cleaning, and all basic humanoid tasks that'll help you open up more time for yourself. So, you know, robotics is a sector that you gotta start looking for as an investment area. AI already had a lot of boom in it. Not saying that AI is done being invested in, but I think the next one is drones, quantum, nuclear, and robotics. So start looking at these sectors, and hence that's why I was talking about IonQ, RGTI, and some of these sectors earlier. Look at the green in these sectors. LAES up 7% today, getting ready to have a nice little breakout and reclaim the 200-day moving average with the current way these stocks are moving. But the way I like to play these names, honestly, are trading the ones that are the strongest. So LAES, very similar to QSI, and QS is not quantum. Why is QS in quantum? Where's battery? QS should be in battery. Where is this? LAES, QSI, they both look the same. They're kind of the dogs of the sector, possibly QMCO too. Look at that. While the rest of the sector are actually going up, QMCO is down 16%. So if you actually own QMCO while you're watching the whole sector go up, that's your signal to dump that position. Get out of that. That's not the name you want to be in. But the rest of them over here looking fine. QBTS not the best. QUBT looking a little bit better. RGTI looking a little bit better than the last two. IonQ looking the best because it had the most recent breakout. If you just zoom out over here, look at that diagonal line and basically breaking out of that diagonal line today. And then the best out of them, ARQQ, because it's basically pulling back into the 200-day moving average and bouncing off the 200-day. Give me a second, chat. Chat, 1 second. I'll have to go pick up something from my friend Dor. So he said he'll be here in 5 minutes, so maybe I'll have some time before I do that. But what are we talking about over here? I forgot now. I lost my train of thought because I was waiting for this guy to call. We have a lot of stocks over here to go through today, and we're gonna spend a lot of time. Who's that Pizza Hut? No, it's something else. He's just gotta go grab something from the door. So quantum names for sure, keeping an eye on them. If we just quickly go down the watch list, some of the most recent AI names: NDIS, CRDO. CRDO has been going insane since this earnings report. If you guys remember, I called this bad boy out. What a monster move. I mean, right here was the earnings move, and if I remember, I think it was growing like by 1,000 or maybe not 1,000, but growing by ridiculous percentile, and that was a signal to look for a long on that name. So this stock has been going crazy today. Basically the first red day setup on that name after that one has been going absolutely wild. ALAB, Reddit, I mean, ANET, all of these names. It's just so sad that I was part of them and I'm no longer in them. Best name today, though, in my opinion, Baba and TEM. TEM had a monster move, but still having trouble with the all-time high at 91. Baba making a new 52-week high and getting back above the 150 zone. So if you pull back on the bigger time frame, that looks good. Possibly a little extended. Because you're moving, what, 20% in 3 days, 30% in 3 days, so possibly a little extended. Maybe time to think about taking some profits and buying back on the dips. But Baba, China sector going absolutely insane, and you guys are welcome for me telling you to invest in China. Okay, chat, I'll be right back. Look at FXI there. Woohoo! I'll be me like I'm back. Sorry that took a little bit longer. Where is this knucklehead? I had to go grab something. I'm back, but I also had to get some dirt off the kitchen counter because there was a lot of dirt on the kitchen counter, and my hands are all dirty. I gotta go wash my hands now. Okay. Oh, Sean Hazel, good to see you. I haven't seen you in the chat before. That's a great first comment. Where is this knucklehead? But no, it's an appropriate comment because I was not at the screen. I had to go grab something. I'm back now though. Where were we? China #1. Is that what we're talking about? Baba, man, what a monster move. I actually did not look at any other Chinese names at all today, so maybe we go check out TIGR. I can actually look over here real quick. So Baba made the biggest move. Oh, okay. You guys maybe had something going on over there. Whoever called out JD, was it Michael Anthony who called out JD in the chat? All right, JD's going. Shout out to you. Pinduo Duo Baidu. Ooh, 4% move on Baidu over there. A new 52-week high. I think 52-week high. Nope, never mind. But at least making a move over there, and QFin trying to get back from the grave. If I remember correctly, QFin actually has... Wait, it's a finance company? And Futu is also a finance company? I thought QFin was an AI-related company. Maybe they invest in AI-related company and they're not AI themselves. Something like that. But hey... you know, China is obviously very much in play right now with FXI up 2.5%, with Baba up 8%, and I can't be happy enough with Baba screaming to the north side because that's taking my account higher. Also, Adobe rally and pullback. Yes, we talked about that a little bit earlier. Adobe is currently having its conference call, and they're 24 minutes into the conference call. Maybe we can hit update over here and quickly see how deep. Yeah, so the 29 minutes into the conference call so far. What are they talking about over here? 14% growth, just basically reiterating the same things that they already said in the report. Firefly services and custom models saw consumption growth 32% and a 68% quarter over quarter respectively. Firefly app downloads and new user acquisition are strong. That's a new app. Like, why would you make Firefly its own app instead of just incorporating it into Adobe? I didn't know that. Okay. New user acquisitions are strong, especially in emerging markets, with first-time Adobe subscribers through the app up 20%. I mean, I recently did cancel my Adobe subscription because now I'm using CapCut, and CapCut recently announced more AI capabilities, and with the help of Perplexity, with the help of Google AI, with the help of Nano Banana, you know, I really have no need of Adobe anymore these days. So I feel like Adobe's need has just gone down. You know, for the amount of things I'm able to do for $20 overall is unbeatable, because Adobe is making you pay like what, $40, $50 a month. So I think Adobe is losing this battle. They got to bring down their price point much lower if they want to compete with these AI tools that we're seeing at the moment. But hey, you know, numbers don't lie. Opinions, everyone has an opinion. It's like an asshole, right? But at the end of the day, what matters is numbers, and these numbers are showing you growth across the board. Another number that matters, very important, is how the stock market behaves with the stock, right? So the market is actually not appreciating that report as much as they possibly should. I'm not an analyst, so I shouldn't be saying that, you know, they should be appreciating it by this much or that much. The report is showing growth, and the stock has been beat down a lot. The stock is reporting what, $20 per year? Like, that's not a small number. $20 per year is insane. And what is Adobe's PE ratio? Probably in the 15s, 20s. There you go. 20 is the PE ratio. 15 is their forward PE. These are like ratios that people die to buy stocks at. So I'm not sure if we're gonna see a lot more bearish action until we actually get below 330. You know, good things never happen below the 200-day moving average. So if we do get below 330, then we can talk about you know, Adobe is dying, Figma is the big winner, whatever. But off the positive earnings report like that, ideally, I want to see it getting back above at least 365, and then we can talk about a possible long. If the stock is just in this area, I mean, I might not try to do too much with this name, right? Just let it trade in that area. It's going to be pretty dead and boring for me. Robinhood, is it still continuing to make a new all-time high? Let's take a look at that. Looks like it actually pulled back a little bit, but still ending green on the day. Surprise. Okay, still ending green on the day after that pullback. Still above the previous all-time high, so not a bad look on Robinhood at all. You know, when in doubt, zoom out. And if you actually zoom out, this looks insane on Robinhood. They did recently announce some new catalysts. They said, what did they say? They said they're gonna announce a social media app. They're gonna announce, or they did announce that now you'll be able to short a position on Robinhood, which is, you know, kind of crazy to me that wasn't a capability until now. So you're telling me this whole time Robinhood traders have only been able to go long? That's insane to me. That's crazy. But I guess they have been able to buy puts and basically do shorting through options, right? So that's possibly always been there. But you're telling me Robinhood has not had a short option this whole time? That's insane. But that's a good way for Robinhood to basically take some market share away from these other companies like Trade Zero, like Cobra, like Centerpoint, right? If Robinhood starts to have competitive, hard to borrow fees like Cobra does, you know, I really don't see how Robinhood doesn't start getting more of a market share and more people trading on it. And it's just going to be insane. Overall, it's just going to be insane. How did you like using above interface? What interface are you talking about, Sean? Let's see if Cigna could rally back up, is saying Sean also. Cigna, let's see, CI, how did you do today? Did they have report earnings after hours? A nothing burger move here for the stock after hours. Not sure what the catalyst is, but you know what? I actually do like that chart quite a bit. What is the average volume on this name? Looks like the average 20-day volume is around 1.5 mil. Average 30-day around 2 mil. So right around 1.5 to 2 mil for a $300 name is not the best. But you can see how it basically bottomed from the most recent earnings report, and then now pushed back into the 200-day moving average. A very nice, clear, tight flag sideways after that bottoming out and V-shaped recovery. If we do get back above that 308.50, 309, and build some support above it, CI could possibly be a decent name to keep an eye out for. The only thing that turns me off on this name for the swing account is the average daily range. It's only 2%. I like being involved in 3 to 4+%. So 2% is not the best. Also, $300 name with only 1 million, 2 million shares traded means the liquidity sucks. It's going to be spready, so you have to be a little careful for that one when it sets up tomorrow. Not on the watch list tomorrow at all. Couple other names to keep an eye on. Most of these names actually come from my good friend Connor. If you guys are not following Connor, the Revere Asset Management boys, you know, they got amazing content over here. He's a portfolio manager of a portfolio called TurboTection along with his buddy Ted. They both do an amazing job. They post daily YouTube video covering the market, covering the stocks, which is a part of my routine. It's a part of my everyday routine to go through that YouTube video. So you know, I urge you guys to check it out also. And they post amazing stuff on Twitter. This is basically a watch list in itself. You can ask even you know, turn this tweet into a watch list for me to copy and paste in Notion. And boom, it's gonna quickly analyze that tweet. Here's a, well, I guess you didn't need to do that. I could have done that myself, but you know, you could even ask this to sometimes post it in Notion for yourself if you're really interested. But I just did it manually because I like to see which stocks I'm interested in and not. But I'm gonna have this up for the rest of the next week too, because I'll be going through some of these names, seeing which names look good for me, which names don't look good for me. At the end of the day, all these names should look good for you because they're all basically are going up. That one especially, I love that name, but I wish I was still in it. Victor is currently streaming Adobe earnings call apparently. Let's quickly drop into Victor's stream. Hey Victor. And then we're gonna drop out of his stream sadly because we're doing our own stream over here. All right, I think he's actually listening live to the earnings call. That's why he's like quiet and he's like focusing left and right. Victor's doing the detective work over there for anyone interested. Go check him out. But you know, we have our tools doing our detective work for us. We don't have to do all that. We just hit refresh and read the transcript analysis for ourselves. Let's continue down the watch list. OKLO. The nuclear names. Look, AI is very much important, yes, but what's also important is the stocks that power AI. I'm not saying OKLO is a stock that powers AI, but it is in the basket of names, right? OKLO, NNE, SMR, LEU. What other energy names right here? LEU, CEG. These are solar names, FSLR, SEDG. Why is SEDG not up here? GEV. So all of these names are very much on watch list over here. Lightbridge. Mainly OKLO stands out because it's basically breaking out or trying to gap up and push towards the all-time high, and then if it starts to get back above the all-time high, it will be very interesting. I mean, we saw the stock right at $12 and now we're seeing it at 17, 88, sorry, 70, 85 and so on. So kind of insane, isn't it? Insane how things work out like that. If you just draw a trend line, something like this, that's a very clear breakout of that trend line. So pull back and holding above this trend line would be good. If it starts to trade above 80 tomorrow, that's your signal to possibly start looking long right away for the day trade and the swing trade. So OKLO, we're gonna put an eye on that one, a pretty close eye on that one. Most of these other names are just on the watch list to see how they're moving throughout the day, but they're not a concrete trade idea. RKLB recently pulled back but then popped right back up, so a lot of shakeout going on in this area. Be careful. Ideally after that candle, you want to now buy shares if you are looking long closer to the 50-day moving average, not up here, because that's showing you that there's a seller in this area. Once, twice, 3 times aggressive selling in this area. I'm not interested to look long on a breakout in this area. If you do break out and then you pull back and show me support above it, then I'm interested, but I'm not interested in the breakout. So if you are looking for a long, somewhere here is the ideal spot. But overall, very good reaction to the down candle. Down candle completely got negated. Well, I shouldn't say completely, but mostly got negated by the stock reclaiming above the earnings VWAP over here. So RKLB for sure something to keep an eye on. MP, the stock that has a pretty high short float. I don't really see anything going on here for myself right now, but if it does get back above the moving averages after touching the 50-day moving average, you can see how it's actually creating a solid base at the 50-day moving average. Either a breakdown below that or a hold around here would give you a setup for the long or a setup for the short. I'm actually seeing a setup for the short coming into play, honestly, if I'm being real with you. That would be on the breakdown of 6140, 6150. So maybe set an alert on MP over there, and if it does get below that, that would actually open up some room, I would imagine, on MP to the downside, and you do not want to miss out on that trade. So 6140, God damn it, Pride, can you type for once? It's a 6150 area. If we do get below that, I want to be interested. Unity, how did you do? Unity! Still chilling, not really doing too much. Still above the 9-day moving average. I don't think there's a day trade or a swing trade set up there. APP continuing to go up. I love to see it. New all-time high on APP. That means, you know, eventually we're gonna see a very good first red day setup come into play. And when APP gave you that first red day setup, I mean, it was marvelous. It was to die for. And in fact, I was complaining because I did not capture that trade, even though I prepared for it all day. So the higher this goes, the juicier and more frothier that trade gets. So keeping an eye for the day trade side for the first red day setup on AppLovin. Reddit, if I remember correctly, again ran up today. Yeah, made a new high, but pretty much pulled back after making that new high. I don't see a concrete trade idea just yet. Tempus AI, if you were not long in this area, you're too late. But honestly, if you just look at the stock on the weekly chart, I mean, are you really too late? This stock could go insane. They just got announced with a positive catalyst, which is a 510K. I did a little bit of research about what that is. That means that the FDA is now allowing them to market their device. Doesn't mean that it's fully approved and licensed and tested. They are just approving the marketing of their device. So at the end of the day, it's a little bit of a positive catalyst, but the final boss on Tempus AI has always been this $91 area. And if we do push above tomorrow, this 91, I think, you know, it's going to be a hard-fought battle victory for the bulls. We've been dying for this long. A lot of times I've been thinking about just getting out of this trade because it got slammed back down. But today is a big victory candle. And then tomorrow going above this 91.50 would just make it even more juicier for the long run. So let's get above it. Let's see if there is some bull momentum day 2 after today being the day 1. Hopefully we get something like that. IREN, nothing today, but that's usual. Yesterday was day 1, today day 2. Maybe you do get the day 3 tomorrow. It kind of set up like I wanted it to, right? Pulled back into today's VWAP, bounced from today's VWAP, and then pushed into yesterday's high. So it basically pulled into yesterday's VWAP and then basically pulled up to yesterday's high. That was the setup I talked to you guys about, and the stock basically did that. However, it didn't really have too much momentum. It just traded sideways, and that's not the worst thing, because tomorrow possibly some momentum could come back in. Most of the stocks in this sector, which is BITF, have been making a run up. And this one's kind of chilling and cooling down, so maybe you know, it's gonna play catch up a little bit. BITF is a little too far extended now to look for the long, to start a long. That is, you know, it's up 71% in 3-4 days. It's also hitting that average extended trigger marker for me, so actually putting into that zone is very good. Because BITF for a short will possibly be good for the first red day short. So putting that one on the alert to BITF. Is HUT setting up for something similar? It's not as extended just yet, but it's also pushing into a nice little breakout area. So if we do get above that, then BITF might not be a short tomorrow just yet, right? Maybe you gotta wait a couple days for BITF. So it's a whole sector that you gotta watch together. HUT looks very good. I'm gonna put BITF watch for FRD, but need rest of sector selling too. IREN, I'm not really watching for FRD. HUT above $32.22, basically $32. Will get very exciting to the upside. Open door, pulling back already right now, but hopefully a gap up tomorrow, because then I wanna look for the short side by buying some puts or something. But right now I don't think it's setting up that way. Looks like open door is gonna pull back, stay above today's midpoint, which is above $9, and possibly trade between $9 and $10 tomorrow. There could be a trade between that for you, but I'm not sure I want to be doing something there. SNPS actually bounced. I didn't expect that big of a bounce. I mean, I did say look for a long on this name. Ideally, I was looking for something like this, but no, it gave you a monster bounce right there as expected, but not also as not expected, because it went much higher than what I wanted. So shout out to S&PS. If you bought the dip yesterday, or if you went long today pre-market or off the open, it basically held today's midpoint and then ripped back to the upside. Ideally, that's perfect setup. That's exactly what you want to see. Monster move on S&PS over there. Do I see a trade, however? Not really. Oracle, maybe a gap close. If we do get below today's low tomorrow and stay weak below today's low, you still have the 300 area, and then below 300, that could open up a lot of room to the downside. And in fact, if Oracle gets below 300, that might not be good for the overall market. You might see a lot of stocks sell off in the AI basket, so be careful. Watch out how this name sets up. You want to, if you are bullish for the sector and the market, you want to see 300 hold, in my opinion. So some sideways action around 300, more just muted action, volume dying down, but buyers showing up above 300 would be the ideal game plan on Oracle. But obviously today's low is on watch, which is 305, 304.50, 304.60. I'm watching that whole $5 zone on Oracle to see how it trades tomorrow, if it's supporting or if it's getting below it. The GME get back above that price. It did get back above it, but it really struggled to get above it. So now it makes it a little bit more interesting. Show me trading around 25 and above 25 for a couple more days, and then we can talk about a trade. AVAV. Nice move on AVAV earlier, but it gave back most of that move. And what did I say? I'm not too interested to look for a trade into this area, because I think that area is most likely going to reject. It actually did exactly that and gave you a complete pullback from that. Maybe there's a short there, Prad, if you were so confident on it. I just don't think there was a worthy enough of a setup here, and there still isn't. There's no setup here for the day trade. Maybe for the swing, if you think the earnings report is good, you know, you're buying in this area and you're putting a stop below 220, but that's still not a trade that I want to be involved in. I think there was another drone stock today that actually ripped up, and that's RCAT. I can't remember what the catalyst is, but this is a, you know, maybe a precursor to AVAV, to keep an eye on AVAV, to keep an eye on other drone stocks. What was the news here for RCAT? Added to the NATO catalog. That's pretty good, right? NATO catalog, RCAT, they create drones for the army, military, defense, and so on. So clearly a positive catalyst, and military, or what is it, America did say they're gonna pump more money into drones and so on. So RCAT clearly selected as the current winner of that sector. Rubric going to the downside, RBRK. Didn't expect it to get below yesterday's low, but it fully did, and that was your trade over there. 22 times it triggered my alert, apparently. Shout out to that. Clear the log, please. Oh, these are old ass logs. Thank you. Clear the logs. Okay. Where were we? Why am I back at TIGR? Okay, we were at Rubric. So Rubric actually managed to get below yesterday's low, which honestly I was a little surprised by, but I did tell you that was the level 80, right? If I remember correctly. Where's my notes? Boom, $80. If it's below 80, if it's below 79.80, I can't see why the stock is along, and perfectly set up like that, just off the open, right off the open, got below it on the pop, was not able to successfully stay above it, even gave you a beautiful short right here around $80, and then not really a VWAP continuation because it struggled over here. But that was your trade idea on Rubric, and I think that will be your trade idea continued for the next few days, weeks. Look for the stock pop into 80 and struggle around 80 to continue selling it back to the downside for the shorts. RBRK. Coming back to today's watch list, PL. How did you do today? You tried to break out, but you failed. That's not what I want to see. But maybe because I'm not in the name, that's actually even better. So maybe pull back a little bit, show me a little bit more buying here, and then I'll be able to jump into the name again, and then we can ride a PL to the upside. At the moment, I don't really see too much over there. Robotics RR, I talked about this briefly. Look at the robotics sector. Almost every stock is green. ARBE up 9%, MBOT up 8%. Not too long ago, MBOT made a run up to the $5 area, dropped into the 21-day moving average, and basically popped off the 21-day moving average today. So possibly something to keep an eye out over here as the robotics sector is trying to brew up again. SPPL, what the hell is this? I don't even know, but it's on my robotics watch list, and that one's up 13% today, but with very, very light volume. So just keep an eye on, you know, have a super watch list like this. Blue Sky, this is Black Sky. Speaking of Blue Sky, what a horrible social media platform. You know, people were celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk. I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're a Democrat. Celebrating murder is crazy. It's insane. And people were celebrating murder on Blue Sky platform. Like, I was like, you know, I heard some rumors that if you go on a Blue Sky platform, people are celebrating the event. I was like, that's not possible. You cannot be that low of a human being celebrating something like that. So I did my own boots on ground research, and it's actually true. Insane. Anyways, not Blue Sky, Black Sky Technologies. These are in the space sector. Same with PL. Up 12% today. Not sure what the catalyst is, but that's usually a good thing when they are holding above the 200-day moving average, and when they're trying to reclaim the other moving averages over here, like the 20, the 9, the 21, and so on. So looking like possibly getting ready to blast back up over here on BKSY, and I might actually need to see what the news is here. Give me a second. No recent news at all, other than the fact that, hey, we're gonna take the stock up 12%. So keeping an eye on this one. I mean, that risk to reward is great. Your stop is what, $15, $15.36, and your reward is literally the moon. So I might be interested to see. Let's see what the options are. If I remember correctly, I couldn't trade Blue Sky, can I? Or Black, is this Black Sky? Black Sky. BKSY. Options? Hey, I do have options. Where is it trading at? Okay, so 45 cents to buy a 1750 call. And if I can quickly go here, go to options optimizer. I want BKSY. Go away. How much volume does this stock actually do? Not a lot of volume, sadly. And how much does this stock have an average daily range of? 6%. Maybe I don't want to do options and I just want to do shares. But you know, keeping an eye on the stock nevertheless. Watching the sector. As I was saying earlier, you know, you want to have a super watch list. This watch list took me quite a bit of a time to make. I have it divided by sectors. And I try to keep building on it. Every time I think of a new stock that I want to keep an eye on, I throw it on the watch list and I try to you know, tag it under the right names and so on. Have something like this to see. I mean, look at this. This is basically the ETFs, and every single ETF that I'm keeping an eye on was green today. Isn't that amazing? That's wonderful. Bitcoin going to the upside. Almost forgot about Bitcoin today. Bitcoin going back up, looking very good, like a successful rally back up over here. So you can keep an eye on IBIT, Coinbase moving back up above its earnings VWAP. MicroStrategy still looking a little weak, you know, still diverging away from cryptocurrency. Not the best thing. You don't want to be seeing this when you're a MicroStrategy holder, but it is what it is. You know, MicroStrategy has done this to itself. At the end of the day, they are to blame. If you want to not be involved in Coinbase or on MicroStrategy, you can directly be involved on IBIT, which is an ETF directly with Bitcoin. So that's something to always keep an eye on. Let me just quickly close my broker here and move on from that one. Continuing down the watch list, SMCI actually had a move after hours. I noticed that SMCI had a move after hours. Wow, $65? What the fuck were you putting a line at 65 then? Oh, you tricked me, you piece of shit. They tricked me. Was there not a blue line at 65 earlier, chat? I swear to God there was a blue line at 65. That tripped me out. Clearly not a big move, but a little bit of a move in the after hour over here. 4% up. Not insignificant, but not as pronounced as a $65 pop-up in the after hour. A good move. I think this is just a continuation from the most recent breakout. They broke out over here. They basically held the 200-day moving average, broke out to the north side, and then now the news catalyst getting it back above the earnings VWAP. So these are good things. All of this action you're seeing here on SMCI is good. At the same time, you're watching semiconductor sector breaking out to a new all-time high, and all of them wanting to rally. Look at Micron can't stop, won't stop. AVGO going up to the north side again. I think no, AVGO actually had a red day today. Let me just look at the overall sector here. Semiconductors. The biggest winner out of all of them was honestly Micron, but still looking very good. Why is SMCI not in here? Maybe SMCI is in the AI basket, and Nvidia is in the Magnificent 7 basket. There's SMCI in the AI basket. But you guys get the idea. Stop drawing silly lines. You guys get the idea over there. You know, good news coming out on SMCI. I think they announced something about a partnership with Nvidia or something along those lines today after hours over here. Shares gain with Nvidia shipments underway. There you go. So pushing up to the north side with delivery news after recently looking bad after their earnings report, holding the 200-day moving average. All things good. Now you just need some volume and some momentum to the upside. Previously, we've seen how crazy SMCI can get. I don't think it can get that crazy anymore, but always on watch because of the importance for the AI sector and so on. Tesla, I mean, what else can I say? We love Tesla. And you know, yesterday, Ellison, what's his name again? Larry Ellison became the #1 richest guy in the world. Well, guess what, buddy? Tesla hasn't joined the bull rally yet. Once Tesla joins the bull rally, you're no longer going to be the richest man in the world. So just watching patiently, waiting patiently, and obviously taking part in Elon getting rich by me getting rich along with him. So buying some shares on this rally. Can't say good things enough. Enough good things about Tesla. And there's nothing really else to add to that, right? Now we just need to get above 370, 368, but I'm just gonna round it up to 370 and just keep going, baby. Don't stop. Blast to the north side. I want to shout out to a couple of stocks today that ran up on the news catalyst. Warner Brother Discovery possibly getting acquired by PSKY, which is Paramount Skydance. So Warner Brother Digital possibly getting acquired by Paramount Skydance. This is actually very interesting. Oh, okay, give me a second. If you zoom out a little bit, this was, I think, off of the news catalyst that Paramount Skydance will be now partnering with UFC. and then you had a little bit of sideways action. I wanted to buy some shares off of that catalyst. I didn't. But now, possibly, you know, them acquiring Warner Brother Digital and them getting above that high would be very interesting. So this is a pretty big pop. Maybe we get a pullback. I want to see a pullback. I want to see it pull back into 16 and hold 16 so we can buy the dip and then look for a move back into today's high. But if this stock is already trading above today's high, which also happens to be the August 13th high, then you don't want to be sleeping on this name. This name could very much go parabolic again. And you know, it actually had one of the most systematic machine buying that I've ever seen to the upside, and then the most systematic machine selling to the downside on this day when I traded it. So over here, I want to see if it did the same thing. Look at that, just straight programmatic buying. Is just like no stop, no, just someone turned on the algo and the stock just keeps on ripping. So if something like that turns on again above 1750, 1760, you want to be ready for that on PSKY. And obviously you want to do more research as to what valuation Warner Brothers possibly getting bought out for. Is the deal going to go through? What are the chances that the deal doesn't go through because of monopoly restrictions and rules? Previously, this deal has been trying to actually go through, but it has been blocked by the Biden administration. So all those things comes into play when you're looking at a merger and acquisition companies or stocks in general. So Warner Brother Digital and PSKY, make sure that you're putting them on your watch list too. I think that's a pretty extensive watch list for now. I just want to quickly go over the recent IPOs from this week. KLAR, I think a nothing burger for the most part. Oh, I'm wrong. It broke yesterday's low, broke 45 and all the way down to $42. So that was a pretty good trade opportunity if you were watching. I wasn't watching KLAR. There was an IPO today, FIGR, and that was a good short also. FIGR was a great short. Same setup as yesterday. KLAR, FIGR, exact same charts. So if you just zoom out, pull up to yesterday, look at that pattern. Sells, pulls back into VWAP and sells all day. Look at FIGR. Go to FIGR. Sells off, pulls back to VWAP and then sells all day. History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. Patterns play out. There's a reason why video gamers are the best traders out there that I've seen. It's all about pattern recognition. Learn the patterns, learn to recognize the patterns, and then the next step is learning to actually trade the pattern. You know, that obviously emotions, handling money, all those things will come in and try to mess you out of the trade and screw you out of the trade. But the number one thing that you want to learn is pattern recognition, ladies and gentlemen. That's the biggest tell for me that you can trade. If you are a good gamer, if you can learn patterns really quickly and then learn to solve those patterns, learn to find the little nuances in the patterns, that's where you start finding the little secret sauce in the trade, right? How many times have I seen this? Probably like 100 times. That's why when I see this again, I'm ready to short the crap out of it. It's that simple. These patterns are dime a dozen. There are millions of them, and they always show up on the market. You just have to watch it very closely. Now, there's a stock tomorrow that could do something similar, or could do a completely opposite move and actually burn the shorts tomorrow, and that is BlackRock Coffee Bar. I don't know why I'm trying to pull it up on the chart here. Let's go to BlackRock Coffee Bar on my awesome tool here. Stockanalysis.com, BRCB, CB. There we go. BlackRock Coffee Bar. I'm thinking it's an actual bar of some sorts where you buy coffee or maybe even other things. They are growing by 20% from 2023 to 2024, and they're still growing. Gross profit is going up. Operating income, cost of revenue, okay. All right. Quickly go to other stats. It's a very small market cap company, less than $1 billion market cap. Don't have a PE ratio, so not profitable yet, or maybe, you know, still on its way to profitability. And that's pretty much all I care to look for. If you want to read about what the company does, they have 2,400 non-alcoholic, so they're not a bar, but beverages in general. 2,400 employees. Have you guys ever been to this in Texas? 158 locations, all in Texas. Pacific Northwest 2, Texas. Awesome. So is this like the new Starbucks, chat? I'm guessing this is the new Starbucks, right? Looking good. We'll see if the IPO is hyped up. Apparently it is 20 times overpriced subscribed. Very similar to KLAR. I think KLAR was also 20 times oversubscribed. Let's go check if we can find BlackRock. I can't find them on this website, which is basically used to find stocks that are pre-IPO. Sadly, no BlackRock coffee bar over there for us to scroll through. Couple last things for us to check out before we're done with the stream. If you guys have any stocks you want me to take a look at, please throw it in the chat because we're about done with time. Sean saying great content. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. Hopefully that wasn't you know, a joke and you really meant it. I appreciate that if you mean it. It means a lot to me, man. I don't hear things like that a lot. Okay, anyways. Usually it's just hate watcher TH hating on me, telling me to get a haircut or telling me to I don't know, something or the other. He's always hate watching. TH. Natural. So, you know, good comments make me cry up. There he is. There he is. So I was looking for if there is a difference or a change in the probability numbers. I don't think there is a change. If I remember correctly, this is exactly the same as last night. We're still expecting a 93.9% probability of a 25 beeps rate cut and a 6.1% probability of a 50 beeps rate cut for the September 17th FOMC rate decision. So stay tuned for that one. Going into the economic calendar, let's see what the econ calendar looks like tomorrow. If I remember correctly, it should be dead. Wednesday and Thursday were the only two economic numbers that mattered. Tomorrow we do have a couple two-star events such as the Michigan consumer sentiment numbers at 10 o'clock. Besides that, I don't think anything really should move the market besides you know, Trump or tariffs or big war type of situation events happening. So keep an eye out for those always. But in terms of economic numbers, we're not really seeing anything to be very alerted about. Sometimes these Michigan and Atlanta numbers do move the market if they come out with a big surprise. So the previous number is 4.8. Let's do this one instead. So the previous number is 55.9. Forecast is 54.9. Let's say the number is 60 or 70 or 80. If it comes out really drastically different, then that could move the market. But if it's within ballpark, that's not gonna move the market too much at all. So that's not you know, sometimes these numbers are boring, but worth keeping an eye on. That's the 10 a.m. We talked about the one IPO tomorrow. Let me just quickly check if there's more IPOs other than that. There is another IPO besides that. There's 2 more IPOs besides that, 3 more IPOs besides that, 4 more IPOs besides that. Cancel that, 3 more IPOs besides that. So we'll talk about the next 3 names here before we go offline. I do see the chat. Sean wants me to talk about Figma. I already talked about Figma earlier, but I'll give you another quick rundown of it. Ideally, it starts to hold above this range high and has a sympathy trade with Adobe. They're pretty much the same company. So let me just delete this line here. And if you draw something like that, that's the breakout right there, right? So holding above that trend line or holding above this day's low, which is yesterday's low, around 55. Holding above 55, would possibly give you a move into 57, and then holding above 57 would possibly give you a bigger move to the north side. So those are the two levels on watch on Figma. Let me just put that on my notes over here. 57 and 55 and 57. Mainly I want to see 55 as support, 57 as resistance, and then above 57 would be blue sky territories. Hate that word now because of that stupid app. Anyways, coming back to the IPOs, LGN, VIA, and GEMI. We got 4 IPOs tomorrow. Jesus Christ. Where is BlackRock Coffee Bar? Where did I put BlackRock Coffee Bar? There you are. I don't have room for an MNMD over here. I'm sorry, but that one's gotta go. Is that right? LGN, VIA, GEMI. Oh my god, I'm a genius. Okay, next few stocks before we call it a night. GEMI. When I first looked up the stock before, I think on the weekend, I thought it was a space station company like Voyager. Wrong. It's a cryptocurrency company created by the Winklevoss brothers. So that makes this very interesting. Bitcoin's going back up. We've already had a couple cryptocurrency stocks IPO recently. Bullish. Figure IPO today. Circle IPO'd recently. And that one was very, very oversubscribed, and Gemini Space Station actually is a legitimate cryptocurrency brokerage / company. You can trade over here. That's a funny offer amount. They're growing by 40-50% over here from 2023 to 2024, and you can see that growth trajectory is still continuing to the upside. If you go to the statistics, you can see the PE ratio non-existent, so not profitable yet. Outstanding shares 118 million, out of which they're offering 16 million to the market. Overall market cap about $3 billion, $4 billion, and again, a Bitcoin trading company. So this is pretty high importance, probably even more importance above BlackRock Coffee Bar tomorrow. BlackRock, I hear my dog outside my door. BlackRock Coffee Bar probably at the lowest. Coco, stop knocking my door. Probably wants me to take him out for a WALK. No, it's too hot outside, dude. We'll go later. WALK. My mind is stuck on that. GEMI, the highest priority IPO tomorrow. Opening between 24 to 26 apparently. And that will be on watch without a doubt. VIA, if I remember correctly, had something to do with AI and transportation or something like that. AI intrinsic platform for transportation to cure public transport. Usually like Google Maps does a pretty good job, but if you don't trust Google Maps and you want an AI based tool, then I guess this would be your go-to tool. Not a bad company. I checked out their website, but I wasn't too excited about it. No PE ratio. They are growing also, so all of these stocks are actually growing surprisingly enough. So worth watching, but just not as high of a priority as GEMI. Again, GEMI is a higher priority name rather than all the other stocks that we just talked about for the IPOs. What is BlackRock Coffee Bar? BlackRock Coffee Bar opening indicated price 16 to 18. And then last but not least, LGN, if I remember correctly, this was a pharma biotech company. No, I'm wrong. Engineering and construction, 6,000 employees, founded 1963. Probably when TH was born. 1963 over here. It's a HVAC installing and company. Are they growing? They are growing. Look at that. 2023, 2024, 2025. Looks like the numbers are going up overall. Do they have a PE ratio? No PE ratio. They are a decent sized company, a $2 to $4 billion company overall, and that is pretty good enough for me. So $25 to $29. This becomes priority number 2 for tomorrow. Maybe. You know what? Gemini will be priority 1 no matter what, and then LGN VIA priority 2, and then priority 3 will be boom. Priority 3 will be BRCB tomorrow for the IPO. So those are the 4 names. High priority for the IPO. This is a high priority right here for the high priority first red day watch. Also high priority first red day watch. Figma, sympathy to Adobe if stock can hold above 55 and also 57. The rest of the stocks I'm mostly gonna ignore for the day trade. If stock can hold above 80, worth watching for day and swing. If stock gets below said prices, get ready to short the fuck out of it. APP first red day. Tempus AI would love to see it hold above 91.50. BTAF first red day if sector selling off 2. If stock above 32, be careful for shorting BITF. But if under 32, short both. Ignoring most of these opens, obviously pretty important, can't be ignoring that. RGTI is also pretty important, we'll be watching that. IonQ is also pretty important, we'll be watching that. Baidu gapped up, Baba gapped up, those are also both important for me. We'll be watching both of those. RCAT making a nice move, keep an eye on it, and that's basically the most of the notes I need for tomorrow. This is a very good day trade basket already curated for tomorrow. Gemini should go to 100 intraday. I'm not saying it should. I don't have a crystal ball, but if we saw what happened with Circle, with Figma, things could get crazy with Gemini. This is a legitimate cryptocurrency brokerage company to trade cryptocurrency stocks with, so things could get insane. Gemini Space Station, if you go check out their website, they're not BS. This is not it. This is it. There you go. They're a legitimate company. You get a credit card from them. You get the trade stocks or Solana. You can stake crypto. You get your own crypto credit card to use, which I bet you get cash back from. So a legitimate product, and they are growing legitimately. What I just hate is the name Space Station. What is Gemini Space Station? Horrible. But yeah, I'm not saying it. T8 says I'm saying it. It's gonna go to 100. I'm not gonna doubt it. You know what? We're actually gonna go quickly check out over here what Gemini price is. Why do I not see a chart? Can I see the chart? Hello? I gotta pay for the pro plan? I'm not doing that. Alright, no chart for Gemini. How about, what was the other one? LGN? Nothing there. And then Via? Oh, Via actually has something. Via expected to open maybe around 40 bucks. IPOs tomorrow. That, ladies and gentlemen, is all she wrote. Thank you for hanging out with me today while I do my homework, while we talk about earnings movers, while we prepare for tomorrow's hot earnings days, or hot movers in general. Hopefully you found some trading setups for tomorrow for the day trade and for the swing trade. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the... Let me just go to the full screen over here because I can also record this for my shorts. If you enjoyed today's stream, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We stream here Monday to Thursday, 4:30 p.m. covering hot live earnings movers and hot daily movers. Hit the like, guys. It would mean the world to me, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys Monday, unless, is Monday a long weekend? I hope not. I don't think so. So I'll see you guys Monday. Have a great time with your family on the weekend. Try to spend some time away from the computers and the screens and time with your loved ones. Especially after yesterday, you know, you learn that life is short. Life is short, and spend time with your family and your loved ones. That being said, I'm going to spend all night on my computer and away from my loved ones. I'll see you guys Monday. I'm going to go get a haircut today or probably on the weekend. Peace. TraderPrad out.